Así que perdonen que se señala y se anuncia con un poco de, ¿verdad?, de premura en estos días, pero siempre estas cosas también son buenas, porque entonces nos ponen a correr y nos ponen a ver que también las cosas se pueden dar de improviso. Sí, gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Alexander Brownless es cofundador y director de ArtThread Ltd, una plataforma para estudiantes y recién graduados donde presentar sus portfolios en línea y un lugar donde promover sus destrezas, intercambiar opiniones y conseguir empleos en compañías reconocidas mundialmente como Nike, Nokia, Stella y McCartney. Alex es graduado de la Universidad de Derby del Departamento de Textiles y Moda. Cuenta con más de 12 años de experiencia en la industria textil y reclutamiento de estudiantes graduados en diseño. Esta organización con sede en Londres le ofrece a sus miembros la oportunidad y a estudiantes de promover sus habilidades en una audiencia global. Con una amplia base de banco de clientes en todo el mundo, busca el talento creativo, además de ofrecer beneficios adicionales como información sobre becas de diseño, concursos internados y exposiciones, entre otros. Como profesores y mentores de la escuela, y me uno a la iniciativa que tuvo Francisco y Yasmín Crespo, esta nueva generación de arquitectos y diseñadores de Puerto Rico tenemos un compromiso de presentarle todos aquellos medios, todas aquellas herramientas que tengamos disponibles para ustedes para un intercambio mucho más amplio. Así que es a través de esta red, o más bien la informática, la web, en que la exploración de estas destrezas y habilidades se hace mucho más cercanas al encuentro con nuestros estudiantes. La visita de nuestro colega Alexander Brown nos da la oportunidad de proyectar el crecimiento y la evolución de la práctica de la arquitectura contemporánea hacia un ejercicio de diseño universal. Sin más preámbulos, le presento a Alexander Brownless.
I just want to say I've never had a clap before start. This is very good. I hope it's impressive. What I'll do, can you hear okay at the back? Yeah? It's okay? Yeah, good. Shall I just talk like this? Yeah? Can you hear me fine, yeah? Okay, because I like walking. What we've done, and to explain this as best I can, is that this website is 2.5 years old now. We originally created a magazine which went down very, very popular with a lot of industry. When I say that, the creative industry in general, we're very, very early stages. We approached many universities worldwide with the magazine, around 15, 20 countries, and everybody came back and said this is really quite a nice idea, creating a magazine for the benefit of architectural design, artists, all within one magazine, yeah, as a one-stop shop. But the majority of the individuals, and certainly the universities, the polytechnics, the colleges and the schools, they said, well, why don't you create a website? Because it's more democratic. It means that you can get more designers, architects, industrial designers or whatever, to upload their portfolios on a website which industry can actually find that person in particular. So it doesn't really matter if you're architectural or textiles or spatial ceramics. The site itself is geared towards every single design discipline. And when I say design, I also mean architecture. Yeah? And yeah, it's proved to be very, very popular. As I say, in just over 2 years. We've had some very, very good success stories. The website itself is going to change within the next 3 weeks. We major web design company based in New York are redesigning the site as we speak, and that will launch the first week of February. Be a lot cleaner, a lot more simplified, because we've had industry come back and say they get lost. So to me, you know, it is quite busy, but it's proved to be a real asset. And the reason why I say it's become a real asset is not only have undergraduates and graduates gained employment or even freelance work, work opportunities. But they've also been selected for events and exhibitions around the world. So we never envisaged this occurring. It really has been a very, very quick. It's been a very, very, very large momentum. It's been very fast paced. We've got now around 6,000 undergraduates and graduates on the website today. We project around 15,000 within the next 12 months. We were originally, we charged the individual to upload their portfolio. We also used to charge the polytechnics, the universities, the colleges and the schools to upload, and that's no longer the case. It is free. The whole website is free, which is handy because it makes it more economical for you. It's very good for the universities as well, because what we've found is that this website is truly educational. So, we're in countries such as Croatia, Australia, France, right all over the world. And it's, as I say, the momentum's very good pace, and the more individuals that upload their portfolios on the site, the more success stories will occur. The industry love it, and I can say that sincerely because the industry is looking for people like yourself. And I think the big selling point of this website is, it's been created for you to show off. So your work that you're proud of, you put on there, and companies find you. And it is a level playing field. When I say that, it doesn't matter if you're in San Juan, Buenos Aires, or New York. It really doesn't. The industry will search specifically for industrial design, product, furniture, spatial, fashion, right across the board. And they're not actually that worried about where the individual's based. Okay, visas come into play, but when somebody's very, very, very talented, a good lawyer can find a visa. Okay, I know that because there's a few that've got jobs here. So, and you should know.
Yeah.
I've actually got my lawyer with me. Rafael.
Nice to meet you guys.
So we've got a site here which, as you can see, we've got the area here which is more for the universities, the colleges, the schools, the polytechnics. I'll click on that in a second. We've got the portfolio section, which is obviously, the key area. It's the biggest area. We've got around 30,000 pages within the portfolio section already. What's lovely is that's going to get even better because, as I say, in February, you can have as many pages as you want on here. It's just not an issue. So if you, enjoy animation, or you're an industrial designer that do a lot of renderings, 360, that could be filmed. There is no issue. You can be uploading Vimeo, YouTube. You can be putting links to your own website that you may create. What it is a creative portal, and it's a one-stop shop from an educational perspective, from an industry perspective, and very importantly for you guys to be potentially collaborating with people elsewhere in the world as well. It's not just totally focused towards employment. There may be individuals in this room today that might want to set up their own practice, might only be wanting to sell work, commission work. These people will find you. They can search. It's a very user-friendly search engine that we've constructed. It's only going to just get better, and that's going to, as I say, occur very shortly. We've got a magazine that I mentioned earlier, where we get a magazine that comes out twice a year. We're looking to make that 4 times a year, but the website has taken priority, understandably. The blog, fantastic. We've got 27 freelance journalists worldwide. That's going to increase. We find that individuals who work from the likes of Condé Nast to Fairchild Publications in the States, they're producing stories and putting stories on our site, if not every day, every other day. And that's great, because it means that you can see what's going on as regards architecture and product design and fashion or whatever globally. So we've got people in Japan, we've got people in Iceland, we've got people in New York, you know, and so you can be looking at that and it, you know, inspire, you know, whatever inspires you. Like I should actually mention that, you know, the reason why we created this is that every single person within ArtsThread have all been where you are, you know. I actually was an engineer. I went from engineering into textile design, into fashion design, and then into manufacture, and then into digital. Now it just goes to show, you know, whatever you may study, if you're architects, industrial designers, product designers, you can diversify, you know. You look at me, I'm, you know, engineering, textiles, fashion, you know, I've even brought containers in from China into London, full of furniture. You know, whatever pays the bills, actually. Yeah, that's the way to look at it. And I think this is the beauty of this, right? It's open. It's all open access. Other areas that we've got e-learning, which will mean that, you know, people could be learning AutoCAD and Rhino and Photoshop in their own time. So we're doing collaborations with a lot of like-minded businesses around the world. We're looking for them, they're looking for us. So we make it, yeah, as I say a little bit earlier, a one-stop shop. Yep. So it's pretty handy. Inspiration, it's telling you about the shows going on around the world. Practical, very good. The practical section is an area where we're suggesting about what makes a good resume, or CV, curriculum vitae, portfolio, how a portfolio is put together. Industry specialists. So we've got industrial designers, product designers, architects, fashion designers going to be interviewed, and actually they're going to be on the site over the next few months. It's giving up the ghost. Is it coming? Yeah, good. So I've just touched everything there, but if I go into press the wrong button. All study levels, very briefly. This is where an individual may be looking for a college, a school, a university, wherever it may be in the world, specialising in a certain area. And I'll only touch it briefly because I know the majority of the individuals in this room are looking to, in the future, gain employment of some description. So this is more an educational element, but this is still used by industry. Industry do look at the program pages and the course pages. So I'm very, 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 very brief. I'll go up the masters and, you know, all the sectors. But as you see there, you know, we've constructed it in a very simplistic format, where the person is a bit like booking a holiday, you know. And don't I know it? I'm having a holiday. I'm flying all over the place, but I wish I could have a holiday. Industrial product spatial I've just selected, and we'll go all countries, and we'll go boom, and then we're doing a course. Just to explain to the people at the back, there's been a little bit of a problem when it comes. What the hell is that? That was on the verge of blowing up. Okay. So, you know, we've got the Royal College here. And, you know, architecture. So this was searching industrial product. We selected architecture. We've got the Royal College of Art, which is it's the number one in England, definitely. Great Britain, UK. And that, you know, that's a little bit of an insight of the course and the programs and all the rest of it. But more importantly, I'm only going to touch the surface because I don't want to be giving you too much information and think, oh, I don't want to push it. We go to the next section, which is portfolios, which is the most important. Very sensitive, this laptop. Very emotional. My goodness gracious, I'm creating beautiful colours here. I do have a panache for blue, but I didn't mean to press that button. We've now got, and I'm now advertising somebody else's website. Go on. like I can't mention this actually because they are part of the family. So this is a big exhibition that goes on every year for students, graduates, undergraduates. It's 4,000 show here every year. So we've actually become their website, which is rather nice and very handy for us because it means that we gain more exposure. But we can ignore that, and we'll go back to the portfolios, and we'll just do that. And a bit like what you were looking at before, you know, the keyword search is something which is obviously if you know specifically what you're looking for, yeah. But we're not going to do that, and the majority of the time, most people just go within this section. And as I say, this is going to get more simplified. This will be a lot easier, even though this is probably very easy. It's going to be better. So I'm just going to go industrial product spatial because that's probably the most relevant in this room. And I'll just go click, and we've got specialisms. Now, the key to say here is that you could be uploading your portfolio, and what I'm suggesting is that you upload your portfolio a couple of months before you're physically graduating. Yeah? There's little or no point uploading your work 12 months before your graduation. It really, because the company or the individual that's interested in hiring you and asking you to do freelance work or whatever, you know, you can't commit. So this is very much about gaining work, employment, own business. It's what it is. You're more than welcome to do it if you want, but it's you know, it's just it's aimed at work. And at the minute we've got a bit of a drop-down menu of areas which, you know, automobile to vehicle design to, I think it was boats, you know, right across the board, lighting, you know, whatever. And this is something really important. There may be something here, and this is the drop-down menu, which is actually physically individuals are actually within that area. Okay, so if you click on any one of them, we'll go to somebody's portfolio. There'll be somebody there, but there might be something that you might be different. It might be a niche, and if that's the case, that's fantastic, because if you're the only one, you're going to be popular. But we're just gonna. I'm gonna go a bit ambiguous and go. Oh, here we go again. Right, in all countries. So you get the general gist. We select the industrial product spatial, and you select the all specialisms. You know, whether that be transportation, spatial design, right across the board, by country, by city, by university. But I'm just going to go click. So I'm going for a little bit of a big one. Bit risky. But I did upload it before, so it should come in quite quick. So, you know, people like, you can see there straight away, there's, you know, surprise-wise, there's more Boyle, but, you know, Eindhoven in Holland, you know, with people in San Francisco and all the rest of it. And it's just having a little bit of a think. So while it's thinking, what's actually happening here is that the individuals are actually being uploaded now. And very, very user-friendly way of uploading your portfolio. It's a bit like Facebook, yeah? I think the key to say here is that this is kind of like a creative portal which touches the Facebook principle and the LinkedIn principle. It's like a combination of both, really, but for the creative, which is a bit of a godsend because no one's really done it. And you know, without being too egotistical, it's bloody lucky. You know, we just, you know, I actually failed to mention that I used to work for an American recruitment firm, and I'd be placing product designers and textile people and graphic people, and I used to find it very, very difficult finding people like you. You know, really, really difficult to find undergraduates and graduates. It's very easy to find people with experience. You know, that's the easy bit. So this is a real godsend for industry. But we're doing all these events, so while it's still thinking, it's important that I mention this. We're doing events with the likes of Maison Objet in Paris. The French have really, really, really gone to town with this. They're very excited. They're very visionary people. We've got Equipe Hotel, which is the biggest hotel trade show in the world. So any hotel chain that you can possibly think of, from W to Hilton to Ace to Holiday Inn, they go to this trade show. 150,000 of them, and they go there to acquire and to buy. And they could be buying furniture, they could be buying things for the kitchens. So restaurateurs go there as well. So it's not just hotels, it's restaurants. It might be people who have big boats and need to fill it, you know, with various beautiful objects. What's great is that we're doing a big competition with these guys in November, which will launch, and I would highly recommend you all take part, because, you know, if you win, you will be going to Paris and you'll be standing there and you might become famous. Yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. Quite extreme, really. You know, next week I'm off to Paris because we've got another show, Who's Next Pret-a-Porter, where we're launching this time around 10 recent undergraduates and graduates who've studied jewellery design, who've studied product design and fashion. And yeah, you know, there's going to be companies there that might well invest in that individual. And you know, Louis Vuitton or something like that, you know, pretty nifty. I shouldn't do that.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm doing it again. I got a lot of nicknames. I confuse a lot of people. I'm sorry. But so what we have here, we as you can see, we've got industrial and product and spatial individuals here within this little hexagonal, you know, montage. I really don't know who this person is, and I'm going to just select them randomly. Bit of a gamble. It might be dreadful. And that's the thing I should mention, actually. And I think I shouldn't say that. There's everybody on here is fabulous. No, the thing to mention is we do knock people back. You know, the people that don't upload correctly, and they might put an image up upside down, and you know, back to front, and the writing's all over the place. Yeah, you know, we can't have that, because industry, it's letting the side down. I think that's the better way. You know, this is a community. It's an art and architecture design community, and people want quality. Yeah, so it's good to be selective. I'm going to select this person. This is really lucky, because you know, I was hoping to get you someone who had a film. So we'll just give you an idea, and I can genuinely tell you, I've never seen this person before in my life. You might be doing some ironing for what I know, but here we go. But there's things here which are really quite interesting, because you can be looking here, you know, way in advance, and get a feel of what people are actually up to around the world. And you know, you could be approaching. I always give this example, because I experienced it last summer, where there was this amazing Scandinavia furniture designer who was in a particular university in North London, and the furniture was fantastic, but the textile seat on top of the bit of furniture was awful, and it really let that beautiful bit of art, it really let it down. And they could easily, had they known about this, they could have collaborated with somebody. You know, it was very Scandinavian, you know, very Swedish, Danish, whatever. You know, that's basically Scandinavia, isn't it? Bit of Norway. But you know, these things which are really beautiful is that you could be, here you are in San Juan, working with somebody in Venezuela, or could be working with somebody in Timbuktu, right? You know, we haven't got anyone from Timbuktu yet, but hopefully we'll get one or two. But you know, just moving on, it doesn't have to be, you know, obviously moving image. You know, we've got, you know, just sweater chair ball winder. What the hell is that? I mean, it looks interesting, but you know, we've got some real interesting phenomena going on. Yeah, it's having a think. I'm going to just click on the next project. You know, you get the idea. There's some really, this person likes filming, but that's good. You know, I think this is the beauty, right? Like going forward, this it can be as long as you want. And so, where today at the minute you only get 5 pages, In 3 weeks, that's not the case. You can be uploading as many images as you want. You can have projects within a project. So you might have created this beautiful interior design, I don't know, the inside of a restaurant, could be potentially, whatever. And you might want to be showing off your illustrations, you might want to be showing off, and I think the bigger the story, the better, because it means that the viewer gets more of an understanding of what you're capable of. Yeah? Like going back the day, to quit engineering, to go and do textiles, to do fashion, you can diversify, There's many an individual, I know people from architecture who've gone into sportswear. Because people, when creative, they can move, they can work with others, and it's very powerful. So, this person's quite extreme, now we've got scarves going on, right? That's interesting. So, that's great. We going back, and we'll just cut back again, because I don't want to be overselling this person, because it looks like, it should be part of my family. Can't push that. Moving on, we've got the magazine, which, as I mentioned earlier, currently comes out twice a day. Twice a day? I've had too much cappuccino. There's the magazine comes out twice a year, and but we deliberately have as many international designers represented in there. And when I say designers, including architects, we're also collaborating with a real coup for ArtStrade. We've collaborated with a major inspiration website in Manhattan called PSFK. Might be worth you looking at. You want to make it? Have you got any paper, pen? If you're interested, you might be totally bored already. I don't know. But PSFK is an inspiration website and it's free. That person's had enough. It's a bit like my mother. She does that. But there's about 25 stories go up there every day, and from health to art to architecture, and it's truly global. And they select 10 designers, we call it Creators of the Week, and they select 10 every week from our website, which is outstanding because they get 1.6 million hits a month, and their clients, from the United Nations to Philips, Samsung, right across the board. So it's good. If you're selected as one of those, that could be potentially a bit of a coup for you. So we're doing all these different things which are, helping the individual get a break, and it goes on and on and on. We're doing all these different ways of promoting. We're traveling all over the place to promote you. And we've got the blog. Now the blog's very good because, as you can see, this is very fashion centric at the minute. The reason being is there's a big show that we are involved with in Paris. So that that this is somebody who we're promoting because they're one of the selected 10. We've got an interiors person here, which we'll just click on. But we've got all these different stories that are happening. There's another show that we're doing, Designers Blogging, in the north of England. But any shows that are going on here in San Juan, it'd be fabulous to be promoting it. We want to promote. The more stories, the better, and the more images that we are fed, we upload. It's the way it's very powerful. You got all these different people showing at this particular show, and we set this competition up actually. So they all doing all these different designs. With Microsoft, we're doing a competition. We've just finished it actually with Bing, which is obviously part of Microsoft. We've got this big object, and that product design, industrial design, architects, whoever actually took part in this competition, and it's for the Olympics. So it's been sponsored by a mega blue chip American organization who we all know about. Can't get much bigger than Microsoft. And yeah, it could be you. That's the way I would look at it. This is a level playing field. I keep on saying it, but it's true. It doesn't matter where you are. You know, the days of studying at the, you know, the creme de la creme of universities, you know, paying it, I don't know, $25,000 a year, whatever it is, doesn't have to be the case. So, you know, this is quite handy. It's everything we believe in. You know, that we're actually, half of us are very deeply socialist. You know, it's and on the other side of the coin, we've obviously got the capitalism perspective as well. So yeah, okay, sorry. So when it comes to the uploading, we go back. I have a little bit of a thing. Graduate portfolio. So as you can see on that front page, upload your portfolio. That's where you go. Now, if by all means do it tomorrow morning if you want. But you know, we're only a few weeks away from this changing, so you might be doing twice the work. Is what I'm saying. So it might be worth waiting a few weeks. But you're very user friendly. You can't miss it. You click on it, it takes you there. Let's click on it. And you start the process. But the way it's being constructed is very, as I mentioned earlier, it's going to be like Facebook. So you can be, you just drag and drop the images. If it's film, you know, you're using Vimeo. We don't want to be housing that because it'll crash the system. It's too expensive for us. So, you know, the likes of Vimeo, YouTube, you know, whatever you're filming, then you just drop it in and everyone can see it. You know, we're now involved with the International Student Film Festival, which launches in February. Really lovely. There's 47 countries taking part. More promotion. You know, the fantastic thing about this is, because it's truly creative, you know, you might not be interested in film, but it just so happens, because there's 47 countries taking part in that actual film industry, that competition, suddenly it opens other doors in other parts of the world. You know, it could be Peru, it could be wherever. And that makes the world smaller. And that's what is fabulous about the web. You know, I've been involved in the web on and off for the last 12 years, and you know, I have to tell you, it's. I wish it was around 20 years ago. I might not have a mortgage now. You know, so that's the way to look at it. You know, it really doesn't matter where you are, and that's a very powerful thing, and it's very fair, and that's where we're coming from. You know, we've got socialist capitalists within our organisation, because if you don't make money, you don't last. But it should be fair and square. It really, and the more you analyse, the more you look at other people, and by all means, you know, please don't copy people, because that's not very good. But it's good to see what's going on out there, and what designers are doing. You know, it truly is educational, and that's a fabulous thing as well. You know, I wish I had this when I was 16, 17, because I wouldn't have done engineering. You know, I'm not knocking engineering, because half my family are that way inclined, but it wasn't for me. That's the way to look at it, you know. So I spent a year doing something that wasn't, you know, close to my heart. But you know, you get the general gist of how it works. Sign up now. You know, it's going to get even more blatant. You just press a button and you're there. And then you start the process, and hopefully within 30 minutes, if you're quick, you're on the site and the whole world can see you. Hopefully. We've got the network buttons, we've got the e-learning, which I touched earlier. Inspiration, I'll touch. That's where, really, that's talking about shows that are occurring around the world. So that could be exhibitions, design shows, it could be what's going on within the Universidad Politecnica here. You know, the more that museums and trade shows and polytechnics and universities inform us, the more people will know what's going on. So that's actually quite handy, that area. And you know, I don't know what this is. This is something going on at MoMA in New York. MoMA have been very good. They feed us a lot of stories, because that's it. You know, it's free marketing for them. And that's what's good. You know, they've got this portal now where, you know, people want you know, they normally pay for marketing. They don't have to do that with this. And the reason why and how we survive is advertising and sponsorship and getting involved in events, and that subsidizes us. So, you know, it'll always be free for the undergraduate, the graduate. It'll always be free for the university, the polytechnic, the school, because the more that do it, the more powerful, the more we can make money, we can employ more people. It's relatively straightforward. I'm just going to click on that. So we, you know, went to the site then. Practical. This is quite interesting. That we're doing collaborations with other organisations. There's actually, it's not on there yet, but we're tying in with a business called ArtQuest. So although they're based in London, they've got these amazing relationships around the world, and we're feeding people and letting people know what's expected as regards taxes. And, you know, think like if you've got you might be interested in moving abroad, and, you know, Venezuela to Copenhagen. You know, we're looking to feed that information into the practical section, which means, you know, you'll know how it works there. You know, you don't go, it's not all too alien. I'm just going to go on the practical guide. I'm just going on to that because this is where we're saying, you know, writing a CV, that being a resume, you know, proactive job hunting, internship work experience. And this is where we ask industry. You know, it's handy that there's a few people within our organisation that have been heavily involved in creative recruitment. So yeah, they've placed product designers and architects in fashion and textiles and graphics. So, you know, what should be in a CV? You know, how, you know, personal details and all the rest of it. So, the more, there's going to be a lot more of this, and there's going to be a lot more interviews. There's going to be, we've got something lined up with the Royal Institute of British Architects, where we're hoping to get someone like Richard Rogers or Norman Foster, someone of that ilk, to talk. And now we haven't got that yet, but RIBA, a rather powerful entity, are all behind this. They believe in it because they look upon it as righteous and fair, you know. So may I mention competitions that are occurring? We're gonna be feeding these competitions to all the universities, the polytechnics and colleges of the world. The fact that I'm here today is going to mean that you're even more likely to know about a competition, though, because you know, we're trying to form relationships, and the more relationships we build, the better, and it means there is no communication breakdown, and it means that potentially, yeah, you've got a nice chance of going forward for something that can make you famous. And that's the way I look at it. You know, this is what we're trying to do here. We want to make stars here, yeah. You know, that's a nice thing. I'm going to just go to a portfolio that I actually rate highly, because I think it might not be everybody's taste level, but she's done a good job of uploading, and that's the way to look at this. You could be really analysing other people to see how they are promoting themselves. So they've got this lady here who has uploaded some very clean imagery. You know, she's actually into publishing, really, in print, but it really doesn't matter. But as you can see down the right hand side, you know, this is very important. I've got to say, you know, from my days in recruitment, you know, a CV that gives me too much information, you know, Tolstoy or Chekhov, like War and Peace or something like that. No, I don't want that. I want an A4 or one piece of paper telling me what you do. You know, whether you're working like back home. A lot of people say they work in a pub, right? It's popular back there. It's not relevant. So, you know, this individual here is, you know, talking about themselves very briefly. You know, their skills, which is absolutely massive. And I cannot tell you how many times I've had some very talented designers who should know better with 20 years experience even, forget about their skills. Don't mention about the fact that they can use Photoshop and Illustrator and AutoCAD and all these Adobe packages that, you know, are out there. So the skills is good, the software skills, and obviously work experience, education, shows, anything. And that's the way to look at this. You've got to market yourself. I get the most mad conversations I've had with undergraduates and graduates and students, and I don't really want to show my best work because people might take advantage of me. Well, you know what? If you don't do that, you're not going to go very far because people need to know you exist. Some people actually say, "No, it's not for me. I don't want to be popular." People will find me. They're naturally psychic. Yeah. It really is quite worrying. Some of them should be locked up. We've got. I don't take life too seriously. I must say. So we've got this person here. The imagery that this person's put up is, it's clean, it's simple. Might not be everybody's taste in the room, but there's some. She's just done book covers and things. But you get the idea. And the reason why we selected her is that she's done a good job. She's talking about herself, she's marketing herself, and you know what? I actually know categorically this lady's been actually approached about 3 or 4 times. She's turned down every job offered. She wants to be a freelancer. Good luck to her. It's good, but that's it. It's people who market themselves digitally are it's the way forward. And I think this is the thing that I've been talking about in various different countries, whether it be Hong Kong or San Francisco, Zagreb. It's so important that you have an online presence. It's absolutely imperative that you have a portfolio so people can actually find you. By all means have your own website. It's really important to have a website, it's great, but it's important to be found. And the only way to be found really, you need to be on a creative portal. And I can say that this is the only website currently today that exists purely for the undergraduate, the graduate, the student. And that's certainly the case, and may it long continue hopefully, because it'll mean I might make some money. But we're doing all these different collaborations with businesses and shows, and there's things going on like we're being hit by a mega international entity based in La Coruña in Spain, and they want to be advertising themselves on the site, which is great for us. It's revenue. So I'd like to think you get a good idea of what we're trying to do here. Let me thank you for your time. It's early evening, and I have to say it's great that you made an effort to come and see what we're trying to do here. The timing's great because it's busy and it's popular, and there actually is work out there. People keep on saying about this recession. There's something to say as regards recessions. Young designers get work out of recessions, more so. You're more economical. You've actually got more ideas. You're fresh. Yeah? So it's a real positive. I can sincerely say, at my age, at 42 nearly, I'm ready for the scrap heap. Yeah? Yeah. So, no, but to an extent, But I just want to say that the fact that you're young and you've got these ideas, it's important to get yourself out there and be known. Yeah. I shouldn't talk about age. What I'm trying to say is that because you're studying and you're experimenting, my experimentation's long gone. So this is valuable. This is massive. Because companies invest in people who've got ideas, and the more ideas you've got, the more you show off on something like this, the more likely you're going to make good money and have a nice house and family and all the rest of it. And that's where we're coming from. That's every single person buying art are that way inclined. We know it was difficult at first to get a break, and let me tell you, it was a darn sight more difficult back in the early 90s, even though there was work. And there was a lot, there was work out there. Today, you're accessible. I had to ring around, I had to send my CVs, all over the place. And people weren't opening the letters, and it was painful, It took a while. very, very depressing. But you know, you've got to be tenacious. So, you know, above and beyond ArtsRed, I think the more tenacious, the more passionate, the more versatile. The personality comes into play. We discussed it, Carlos and me, at lunchtime. Personality is everything. I've got to tell you, I know individuals who are very, very talented, but yeah, they're painful to sit next to. You know, so if you're flying to the other side of the world, you know, like China, you know, I've had this conversation where people actually say, you know what, I can't imagine myself sitting on a plane with this person. You know, I want to throw them off after 10 minutes. I think people like warmth, they like passion, they like genuineness. You know, that's everything actually. That's half the battle. Talent's good, functionality's good, collaborating with other people's good. You know, there might be certain skills that aren't second nature to you, so you know, photographers. You know, if you know a good photographer, you ask them for a little bit, you know, whatever. But that team ethic is a good thing, and that's the other thing. You know, talking back about the collaboration with the chair and the cushion on the chair that's complementary because it's Scandinavian. These little things are quite, you know, I'm not making it up, you know. So I must say, you know, it's for the second time. It's been really nice to see you all. It's the youngest student I've ever seen in my life. He's probably about 4 or 5. He's obviously a prodigy. He's going to go far, that guy. He's even drawn now. But no, I just want to say thanks very much. Yeah.
Si tienen alguna pregunta, disparen, ¿ok? Yo la puedo traducir también, o sea que si quieren hacer alguna pregunta a Alex, pues ahora es el momento.
As many questions as possible. If we're in Ireland, it'd be quite fine. Yeah.
Is it only for students and graduates and undergrads?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. I'd say the reason being is that there's other websites that exist, and you know, there's sites like Behance and Colorflow. They do a very good job, a really good job. And you know, I think in life, yeah, you know, people could argue that we're being silly, you know, being that way inclined, but this is very much about the early stages of somebody's career. You know, somebody, not necessarily somebody who's just graduated in the last 6 months. Yeah, that's great. They should be on there. But somebody who's graduated, you know, over 2 years. We suggest that if you're about to graduate, whether it be with an MA or BA, MFA, BFA, all I get very confused with the terminologies. But you know, masters and bachelors. You know, that's basically the way I look at it. Yeah, you know, that's for those sort of individuals. And then, you know, the other sites are more for design professionals. You know, people who are established, who have been going for a few years. And this is young. I say young, but young in the sense of from college, from university. They've just come out. But you know, I think that's a good thing, to keep it like a niche. You know, that this is an educational portal as well, because, you know, I mentioned it earlier, like, I wish I'd seen this when I was 16, get a feel what's actually out there and what's going on, because I was clueless. So there's that as well, you know, we're trying to do with the programs and promoting the programs here, yeah, around the world. And it's amazing how much industry actually do look at the programs, because on the program pages, the undergraduates and graduates appear on there as well. So it's like it's a double hit. So yeah, that's a very long answer to your question. Yeah.
Yo creo que es bien importante que sepan que, como él bien explicó, no los van a venir a buscar ustedes, ¿okay? Tienen que tomar la iniciativa, y esto es básicamente bien fácil de utilizar. Claro, obviamente el modo en que suben el portfolio pues también puede afectarlos o no, ¿ok? Pero si lo logran, o sea, es otra herramienta más para darle promoción a sus trabajos, o sea, no pierden nada.
Creo que por acá hay otra pregunta.
Sí.
Is there a section specialized on
scholarships or grants for studying or internships?
Great question, and it's something that we're going down the road. Yeah, it's not on there yet, but yeah, there's scholarships, grants, mentors. You know, that's. I think just to say we're still. You know, I was going to say we're a baby. I've used that for a while now. We're probably more like an infant. You know, like a 4-year-old probably. So the more it grows, hopefully it'll become a monster, yeah? You know, like, you know, I don't know, a big werewolf or something, very hairy. So yeah, the scholarships and, you know, this is the thing, right? It's a bit like the reason why these shows are going on and these events that are going on in New York and Paris and London at the minute. It doesn't have to be. I mean, there's something I failed to mention. With Raphael, we want to do an event here.
Ah, sí.
Yeah?
Vamos a hacer se me había olvidado, forget about that. Vamos a correr lo que es una especie de trade show en diseño para todas las escuelas de todas las universidades de Puerto Rico, y vamos a traer reconocidos diseñadores de todo el mundo. Eso pues obviamente vamos a planearlo acá con la Poli, con la administración, pero definitivamente que lo estamos planeando para finales de este año, ¿okay? Entonces también es bien importante que ya hay competencias corriendo, como la que va a ocurrir en Francia, que le dijo de interior design para hoteles. Ustedes ya pueden participar, así de sencillo. Ustedes pueden entrar en esas competencias ya. Yo soy abogado en propiedad intelectual, creo que saben lo que son los copyright, los trademarks y las patentes. Pero trabajo mucho con ellos, que yo también les puedo servir de ayudar, porque Alex se va mañana también, pero sepan que yo estoy aquí, porque si necesitan también pues algún tipo de referencia o información sobre ellos, pues yo los puedo ayudar, pero sepan ya que ya hay competencias corriendo a través de ArtShred y ustedes pueden realmente ser ya partícipes. Cuestión de que conozcan cómo subir correctamente su portfolio, y entonces juegan en la lotería, ¿no? Había otra pregunta por ahí, sí.
Y en el caso de que yo quiera eliminar información importante de la página.
In case that she uploads, what she wants to download again.
Yeah. You can change, yeah?
Removerlo, like taking it out.
Take it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's your space. It's your space, yeah? So you can take out, you can put in, you can... individuals who get jobs through this should actually take their portfolio off, yeah? It would suggest that you're not happy in a job. You know, if I was an individual, a company, and I'll use this again because people, it's madness actually. There's people who still continue to upload their work even though they've got a job. Now that is actually quite dangerous, because if the person may have found you in the first place on the site and then see that you've put more work up, actually, yeah, you know, if I was your manager, I'd say, are you happy? Yeah? And I don't know what goes on, but it happens a lot. And there's, back home, where I'm from, there's somebody being sued because of it, right? So there's all these little things that go on. I don't really know everything you said before there. But on the intellectual property side, there is something that just made me think. Sorry, the reason being, just so I don't forget, is that the image that you upload, yeah, whatever the image is, if somebody thinks, oh, that's nice, I wouldn't mind that, yeah, I might just manipulate it, I'll have that for myself, thank you very much, and drop it onto their desktop. They can't manipulate it. It's not there to be, you know, people printing things off of this. It's not for printing. You know, we're trying to make it difficult for the individual, you know, to view it, yeah, by all means view, but when it comes to people trying to take advantage of creatives, we're not helping them. And obviously it's the reason why Raphael is very, very integral with this business, because intellectual property is everything, I think.
El website tiene unas políticas respecto a la propiedad intelectual. Ellos no se meten nada en lo que son sus copyrights, sus trademarks. Si tienen sus patentes, eso les pertenece a ustedes. ¿Entienden lo que les digo? Nadie entra y utiliza también sus imágenes o las altera Es lo que le está tratando de explicar ahora mismo. Porque eso siempre es una preocupación legítima, ¿no? Pero realmente esto es un open space. Usted sube su trabajo y básicamente toda la propiedad intelectual se queda con usted. Si usted logra un tipo de contratación o lo llama una empresa, sea en Hong Kong, por ejemplo, y si le interesa ese tipo de arte que está haciendo, pues el manejo de la propiedad intelectual usted la hace con la empresa. ¿Me entiende lo que le digo? Que no se ceden los derechos de propiedad intelectual. Usted solamente publica. Y tiene que publicar, porque si no publica, nadie se va a enterar de que usted existe. Vuelvo, insisto, tienen que tomar las iniciativas y hacer un buen portafolio y subirlo. Si tienen más preguntas sobre propiedad intelectual, definitivamente disparen ahora.
Y por ley, porque en un caso en donde yo quiera sacar toda la información de la página de ustedes.
Lo puedes hacer.
Sí, pero
Sí.
ustedes no se quedan con ninguna información.
No, para nada, para nada. Tú lo subes y lo bajas cuando quieras. No hay ningún tipo de restricción para nada. Él ahora mismo te sugiere que, por ejemplo, si tú lograste un empleo con una empresa, pues a lo mejor ya tú no quieres tener ese portfolio ahí, por no sé, por razones políticas de la empresa, o ya sea por otras razones, pues tú lo eliminas, lo sacas. Y sí están contratando, porque como les dije, yo soy abogado de ellos, yo le hago mucho la propiedad intelectual a ellos, y me cuentan y están contratando estudiantes en todos lados. Yo estuve en Londres hace poco, ¿no? En un trade show gigante. Entonces, pues, las empresas están yendo a esos trade shows. Por eso es que queremos hacer ese también aquí, bien dirigido a diseño, para que ustedes también, para que la gente vea lo que ustedes están haciendo en Puerto Rico, y vamos a traer diseñadores de todo el mundo. ¿Ok? Entonces, pues...
¿Otra pregunta?
Pero, o sea, aquí hay gente que tiene patentes, hay gente que tiene derechos de trademark por todos lados, aquí hay copyright en todos lados, pero nosotros realmente, Archer doesn't go into it, okay? It's your space, like he said. You put it up there, you upload, and you download whenever you want to, okay? ¿Está bien?